What's up, my little pretties? It's your Mistress Lioness here, and today we are going to review another Disney movie. Now, this is another Disney movie a lot of people really have liked. If you like The Lion King and Aladdin, you probably will like this movie. Now, this movie came out in 1991, and for those who grew up in the 90s or were born in the 90s or early 2000s, will probably have remembered seeing this movie. Like myself, I remembered seeing this movie a long time ago as a kid, and I honestly really loved it, and I rewatched it just recently, and I honestly really love this movie too. Now, there is a live action remake based on this that I will review in the future, and that, my little pretties, we're going to review today is called Beauty and the Beast. Now, what is Beauty and the Beast about? I will be explaining to you what the whole movie is going to be about before I get into any details or any further into the review. Just a spoiler alert, I will be spoiling everything pretty much about Beauty and the Beast, and if you don't want me to spoil it, I highly recommend you check this movie out if you haven't seen it yet, because you will not be disappointed. Now, the movie starts off with a little bit of backstory about what happens with this prince, and basically this prince was selfish and greedy and stuff, that he opens the door to his castle one day to find an old woman who asks for shelter. But however, the woman was rejected by the prince, and she transforms it into an enchantress and cursed the prince to become a beast. So basically, the prince, aka the beast, has to learn to love another person, a woman, basically, a princess, and earn her love in return. And if that happens, the spell is broken. But if that's not the case and the last petal falls without any return of love for her in return or anything like that, he will remain a beast forever. So the next part we come into this is Belle, who lives in a town in France, and she lives with her father, and she is being engaged by Gaston. However, Gaston tries to propose to her and gets her to marry him, while meanwhile Belle is not interested. Like, she is not interested in Gaston at all. Like, she's literally just not interested in him. No matter how hard she tries to, tell him that she's not interested, he will still come out after Belle with many ways. Now, I could say that Paige O'Hara did a very flippin' great job at being in the film as Belle. Like, I think she did a great voice for her. Paige O'Hara, she did a pretty good job. Even though this movie came out in the 90s, it's still a really good Disney classic. And like, I don't understand why Disney now these days just don't know how to make up something new. I know they're still coming out with different movies now these days, but sometimes I think that they lost magic eventually. But with that said, I'm going to continue with this review. Now, Maurice, Belle's father, tells Belle that he is going to another town to show his new invention at a fair. So he goes to this fair, but instead of going to the fair, he ends up getting lost in the woods, and then he gets chased by wolves. So he, on a horse named Philippe, he goes to this castle where he spots animatic objects moving and talking. So we have Lumiere, who is a candlestick, Cogsworth, Cogsworth Wharf, or whatever it is. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for not pronouncing the characters' names correctly, people. It's just been a long time. The clock, and we have Mrs. Potts and Chip, who are the teapot and cup. So basically, they make Maurice feel at home, and then the Beast shows up and he asks Maurice why he was here, and he's not welcome at the castle and stuff like that. But instead of letting Maurice go, the Beast takes Maurice and puts him in the prison. However, Belle finds out that her father has not returned in a while, so she gets confused and worried, and then Philippe, the horse, shows up, and Belle realizes that something must have happened, so she jumps on Philippe and and the horse takes Belle to the castle, where she goes in and she basically finds herself in the dungeon and finds Maurice in there, all trapped in a dungeon and stuff. And as she was trying to think of a way to free him, the beast comes out and ends up telling Belle that he's his prisoner. Belle, doing the brave thing, was she would take her father's place, which she does that successfully, and she realizes that the master of the castle is the beast. So the beast sets Maurice free and gets this little big, I don't know what it is, kind of like a carriage ride or something, back to the village, and Belle gets taken by the beast to her room, and she basically is terrified and she's all confused and stuff. So basically, the beast tells her to join her for dinner. But however, though, when Maurice gets back at the castle, well, gets back from the castle, he tells Gaston about the beast, and at first, Gaston didn't really believe, so they basically thought Maurice was actually just making up a story and stuff like that. And when Belle refuses to go down to dinner there with the beast, the beast kept asking her to come down for dinner, but she refuses to, and he loses his temper, and he ends up getting very angry with Belle. So later on in the film, Belle goes to explore the West Wing, which was forbidden, and she finds the enchanted rose. However, the beast gets really mad with Belle for going into the West Wing, which she was told not to. And the beast terrified Belle so much that she ended up getting on Philip and ends up trying to run away, but ends up getting surrounded and almost mauled to death by the wolves. So the beast comes out and he basically saves Belle with a minor injury that Belle takes him back to the castle where he fixes him, and she has an argument with the beast, and then somewhere during the argument she yelled at the beast saying, "Well, you should learn to control your temper." Then the beast starting to realize that, he's been in a bad mood for the last little while, and he's realizing that Belle is trying to show him kindness and stuff, and how she could do that without being yelled at. So the beast started to trust Belle, and the more they did these things, Belle teaching the beast things and stuff like that, the beast started to grow soft for Belle, and he slowly began to like her. Now, partway through the film is the next part where what happens is Belle and Beast are dancing, but however, Belle tells the Beast that she misses her dad, and she finds out through a magic mirror that her dad or Maurice is out in the cold, and the Beast finally decides to let Belle go. So Belle goes to see Maurice and gets back to the village, but to find out that Gaston ends up trapping her and Maurice into a cellar where they were later freed by Chip. So the villagers and Gaston go to the castle to try to destroy the beast. However, Belle goes back to save the beast and all that, and the beast and Gaston end up fighting, and however, Gaston ends up stabbing the beast on the side, and the beast ends up slowly dying. And by the time the last petal falls, we thought the beast was dead for sure, but however, with Belle returning her love to the beast turned back into a prince, and they live happily ever after. Now, what did I think? Now, that was Beauty and the Beast, the Disney classic of the 90s. Now, what did I think of this movie? I honestly thought this movie was actually really nice. I really do enjoy this movie. There's a lot of great stuff that I did enjoy with it. I thought the concept itself was really good. Now I could say that Beauty and the Beast was a dark movie. Like, I know Disney's made a lot of dark movies. This is actually one of them. But if you're thinking, what's your favorite dark Disney movie? Well, mine would have to be Tarzan. Like, Tarzan is actually one of the dark films. I know The Hunchback of Notre Dame is dark, but I can understand, Beauty and the Beast being a dark movie. Like, I could honestly see Beauty and the Beast be a very dark movie. And that is something I could definitely see is, that being a dark movie. However, it is a really great movie, and I highly recommend for those who haven't seen the movie to check this movie out. Now, the voice acting and the cast is really awesome. Like, I like Angela Lansbury. She did a great voice as Miss Potts in there, and she's still alive, by the way, as far as I know. And I think she's in her 90s or something, but she's pretty good for a voice like Mrs. Potts. Like, she was actually a really good voice actor for Mrs. Potts. Now, for those who have not seen this movie, I highly recommend they check it out. And for those who have seen this movie, will probably say, my childhood has returned. Yeah, I found this movie to be amazing, actually. I found this movie to be very good. Now, the remake was pretty good too, but I have to say this one will always be the classic of all Disney movies. But I think The Lion King is another one as well. Now, I don't have anything negative to say about this movie, so there's nothing really bad I can give it, but I could definitely say that the voice acting was really good. Like, the cast is really good. Like, I like the actor for Belle. She was actually pretty nice, and I like her voice too. But I also like the Beast's voice as well, so there was another thing I could definitely say that I really like. Now, the songs in this movie are just amazing. Like, there is Be Our Guest, Belle, Gaston. There's also Beauty and the Beast, Tale as Old as Time, but there's also a deleted song in this you could probably find this on the deleted scenes and stuff like that. You could find this at deleted scenes if you have the DVD of Beauty and the Beast, and that one having to be something I really am amazed to see, and that will have to be, and this is, oh my gosh, I'm a little tired this morning. And that, my little praise, would have to be something that you guys really are wondering and waiting for, and that is having to be, When We Are Human Again. Now, the songs in here are amazing. Like, I honestly love the animation of this of the movie. I honestly found this one to be quite joyful and really amazing, in my opinion. But I know there's other Disney movies that have gotten dark in the past, and this is actually one of them that had dark parts in the movie. But it's pretty good, though. And what do I think of this movie, people? I honestly think that younger kids should really give this a watch if they're new to Disney. They should really give this movie a watch, as this movie is really, really good. And I honestly thought this movie was enjoyable. Now, before I end this review, I'm going to say a few things. If you don't like this movie, that's fine. I respect your opinion, but please respect my opinion. But there's also a musical based on this movie. There's a Broadway musical on it, and there's also a few sequels. One of them being The Enchanted Christmas, which I might give it another watch one day, and if I do, then I might consider maybe be reviewing that one. But there's also another one that a lot of people don't like, and I kind of am okay with it, but at the same time, it's not that great, and that is Belle's Magical World. If you like those movies, I respect your opinion, and if you don't like this movie, I respect your opinion as well. But as long as you respect my opinion, we're all in the good. Alright, my final rating of this movie would have to be a 10 out of 10. It's a really good movie, and if you're new to Disney, I highly recommend you check out this movie, as this movie is just amazing. Like, I love this movie so much, I would watch it like 100 times and will not get bored or old of this, because this movie will always be the best Disney movie. Well, along with The Lion King, this is actually one of the good Disney movies. Anyways, what did you think about this movie? Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what would you have done personally to help make this movie a lot better? Leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section down below. I'm the channel Lioness. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. And if you're brand new here to this channel, be sure you like, comment, and subscribe because I make new videos every day. Don't forget to ring the bell for notification to when I get uploads and for when you guys to be notified that I upload and stuff. And yeah, with that being said, my little priest, I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.